It's colder outside than you were expecting. You see the lieutenant standing there. A small cloud of white escaping from his mouth. He turns to you, but says nothing. He's waiting to see what you do. For God's sake, say you fucked up. Please.
You think? Yes. And?
The lieutenant stares impassively. What are you? A petulant child? He expects you to apologize.
Let me ask you something. What do you see when you look at me? Yeah, that's what most people say. But do you know what they don't say? Ravers. I don't suppose anyone ever questions whether you belong here. Whatever your faults, you're a solid detective. You're obviously Ravers. I was born here. I grew up here. It's the only home I've ever known. And there's a good chance I'll die in the line of duty here, too. But to most of my countrymen, I will always be some monkey fucker. Well, good, because we are partners. Now, I have some personal matters I'd like to get in order. If you don't object, I'm going to leave the rest of the day's investigation to you. Try not to break anything while I'm gone. I'll see you in the morning, detective.
Aye, the sea's gonna calm down soon, I can feel it. The wind is turning southeast. What's on your mind, officer?
Do you think she really needs more of that after a man died at sea? What if I told you it is actually possible to go on a date sober? Before recorded history, men and women were able to do simple, very primitive things together sober. Acknowledge the situation and keep it basic.
I have, and I don't really.
You just want to go for a walk. What kind of a monster doesn't want to go for a walk? Walks are innocent.
Just a walk? I don't know, officer. I would not have taken you for an innocent perambulator. Where would this walk take us, officer?
Nothing creepy, strange, or out there. Keep it airy and simple.
All right, I will walk with you. But you need to understand that nothing is going to happen. We're just walking. Me too. It's been ages since I just had a normal conversation with one of you guys.
She means men.
Stroll on the beach sounds nice. All right, I guess I'll be seeing you at Land's End in the evening, when it gets dark, all right?
She doesn't wait for an answer. You better get ready. Was that acceptance? It feels so normal, nourishing even. old door, worn by Ella. The concrete structure. The woman gazes steadily at the waves. A sudden gust picks up her dark hair and lets it fall again, tousled, wild. She brushes a few stray locks from her eyes, and only then spots you approaching.
Aye, so here you are. It's late and it's snowing. The snow is... well, it's not really snow, it's slush. Know that you're not the first guy to bring a girl to Land's End. This is what the locals call a make-out spot. That is not going to happen here today. I just want to make that clear, Dimples.
Her thoughts are still elsewhere, with distances across the water, and with the water itself. Across the rusty water, that's La Delta, the financial district. In the mist-covered distance, towers rise as a rebuke to the poverty of this coast.
Drinking men aren't known for keeping their appointments. So this is what this is. Responsible. Well, maybe it is. Maybe you'll have a revelation and crack whatever you're on. Let's not get ahead of ourselves now. I've seen quite a few of those first days. Aye. Here it comes.
So fast as to make it seem like the weather turns at her command.
Me? No, no, no. Just grew up on the sea. Know which way the wind's blowing and all. Knew the weather'd clear up once we got here. Otherwise, it would have been a less pleasant stroll, eh?
You should say something. Anything. Maybe the tequila sunset thing.
It's a common Revacholian expression. Means drinking yourself to death. And what about you? Keeping the name? Can't wait to hear it.
The remains of the dying sun are reflected in the waves and the skyscrapers rising across the bay. Your mind clears for a moment as your senses take it all in. Not just the glass skyscrapers, fragile looking in the shimmering air. River Esperance flowing into the bay.
Isn't it strange for this all-powerful thing, the sun, to be so generous towards us? You know, the best time to go out fishing is usually towards sunset, when the water is warmer.
The sun also falls on the Capeside tenements and war-torn ruins. An old sea fortress juts out, seemingly impervious to the sheen cast over everything else, shaking you out of your reverie. The sun does little for the dead, and those hopelessly lost in their own minds, or people living in desert climates with sparse vegetation and little drinking water.
Oh, that was a bit of pride and a bit of superstition.
And a bit of conceptual unity too, it being yellow and all. There's salt in the air, and the cries of the gulls and the skuas. grit of the sand and the green glint of broken bottles. But still your gaze always returns to the dazzling streaks of light, wherever they may be reflected, their fading opulence.
It's bringing us spring, summer. It's entirely on our side, no matter what we do or who we are, for absolutely no reason. It's unlike no other powerful being, certainly no powerful organisation or government. How can that be? Aye, it's political. No need to step on a soapbox about it. What if we disagree?
See, she doesn't want to disagree. Good sign. Keep it at that. Here we go. 2 different approaches to cap this off with style.
Aye. And a benevolent one. When did you last have one of those on your side? Well, maybe it's that god that makes all those atoms burn up there in that big thing. You know, the wind's going to pick up soon, and I have to go, but... Have this. The sun's good, but it doesn't stick things. I've no use for it anymore. No. Men around here are too drunk to pose a threat to me. Doubt it. But thank you for the company.
This is as far as it goes with her. You'd need to put a year between you and your last drink for anything more.
Farewell.
As she walks off, the wind picks up, and the light from the sun seems to fade. The crumbling silhouette of Feld electrical R&D towers in the distance, beckoning.
I see you haven't left our little Martinez yet. Still running around. Like some kind of cross-country law official. Aye, but don't let it grow too much. This is not the place to settle down. Now, what's on your mind, officer? You're back. Good. What can I help you with? Of course. Of course.
Don't tell her you've met Everard right away. This time. It's getting cold, this late in the night. Time to call it a day. The bed is comforting, if a bit run down. Still, you've earned a rest. The place feels almost like home now, quiet and dignified around you. A new life by the seaside. You're incredibly tired. The darkness and warmth come fast. You're falling asleep.
It's easier this time. Drifting off, your head has found a comfortable indent in the pillow. Your legs and your torso feel like lead weights sinking to the bottom of the sea until they're suddenly light.
Blackness, blackness, blackness. The ultimate disco. The ruins of your life behind you. Still smouldering. Ashes rise. But you're not looking.
For now, a little while, you can. When the pictograms and the hieroglyphs of the world return, they seem silent somehow. The alarm rings quietly too. You're ready.
Yes?
The scruffy-haired little boy kicks a stone.
Hello, mister. Bye.
Is that the phasmid? It looks like the phasmid, leaning against the wall. It's not the phasmid. It's not even organic. It's a fire iron. How disappointing. Right? You'll have better luck next time, though. The phasmid, finding it is your destiny. The scruffy-haired little boy. There's nothing else to do with the
shine on these sunglasses. Everything still.
Hello again, esteemed officer, and welcome to Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People. What do you mean, the actual source? Are you here to lecture me about economics again? What?
Ma'am, what he's saying is true. We found an anthroponetic anomaly in the small Pinewood church down the coast. I don't mean to be an alarmist, and more research is needed, but it's not looking good.
But that's not in any of the ancient texts. How am I supposed to protect my bookstore from that?
Tell her the truth. It's out of her hands.
Close the shop? But it's all I have. No, there must be a way, especially now that Annette is settling in at school again. She's finally making friends in this place. No, we can't leave Martinez, we can't. Thank you for your help in any case. You're welcome back here anytime.
Oh, it's you again. Are you looking for a die? You mean the curse that I'm spared of because I live outside its immediate reach? I'm listening. Excuse me? A 2mm hole in reality? This can't be true.
I'm afraid it is, ma'am. Sona Lukanen killed, the former lead programmer of Fortress Accident, made the discovery.
Sona is involved in this? So it's even worse than I thought. It's not just the commercial area that's cursed, it's the entire world. A curse is something superstitious, but a 2mm hole in reality? We all know what it means. It's pale. In any case, thank you for stopping by. It's good to have an answer, even if I can't claim to understand it fully.
for something, Aunt? Come to tell me to fuck off again?
You could push him by asking him to show you the soles of his boots. He definitely looks like someone capable of a lynching.
Been admiring the stompers, Aunt? For sure, I can demonstrate them.
On the bottom of the man's boots, you see an intricate tangle of treads with no immediately discernible pattern.
It's Revachol. Custom made. Cost me a pretty penny. You'll see when the time comes, officer. True patriots carry Revachol in their very souls.
Technically, you're stomping on Revachol every step you take.
Huh. I know you people don't understand poetry. Looking for something, Aunt? Come to tell me to fuck...
Failing the last time was...
Looking for something, Aunt? Come to...
Failing the last...
Looking for something, Aunt?
Men like this only respect two things: strength and fear. Time to turn up the volume.
Fuck you, I told you. I'm not gonna...
There. His voice grows smaller as yours.
Look, fuck you, man. It's some Lorry down there. Green, banged up thing. I don't fucking know who she is.
When did she go away?
I don't know. I don't even know her name. She just rolls with the fleet and acts like a big shot. Some dyke, probably. I haven't even seen her for days.
Now it's not a big deal for him anymore. This is how he saves face.
Past the monument. Down there. The Green Temple. Now leave me the fuck alone, okay?
A small temple by the monument. Green. Let's get into that lorry.
Looks like he got his adrenaline up, too. The woman is still hunched.
Huh? What is it? What do you want? And what is that?
Great. He asked the Pines rep about the bail, and now he's talking to everyone about it. Fine then. Just try not to black out again, and don't contemplate. We don't have time for that.
It's death, but for the universe, oh, we're contemplating the living shit out of this.
Exactly what I didn't want you to do. Ma'am, my partner wanted to know if you work in Pale Transport.
No offense. But your partner? Seems like a bit of an idiot. Like Gabriel Buenguerro in Segúreme, Paraíso. You're the opposite of me, then. I remember everything. Even the things I never knew. The smell of liquor on Gabriel's lips after the shoot. In the motor park. The roses on the day of Franco Negro's coronation. On the grand stairs of Morell. The smoke from the Fowling piece when Dolores Day was shot. The look on her face, like an orgasm. The wound in her chest. My hand in my father's hand. Except I never had a father, and I never shot her innocent Dolores Day. Heroic doses, Hervé, heroic. Thought insertion, dithering. The Grad Catalan Magistral? It's more than dangerous. It's sad. But at first I had to make a living. Now, when you've seen it all go away like that, rolling off like the sea, and then come back to this? What are we doing here? For thousands of years, Gabriel. It doesn't have to be like this. We can just give up. We can just become a vapor. Nothing. Until it starts. When you are deep enough. Then, for me, it's like autumn. Dark, grey and orange. The orange of street lights and the color of streets in the electric light. It smells like autumn too. It smells terrible.
Nostalgia. Cooped up in the cabin, shaking. Terrible nostalgia. For yourself. For humans. It's too much to bear. She loves it.
In the belly of an airship, behind the stair windows. So you don't look straight into it. It's not advised to look into it. No, the same one, a roller. They all are nowadays. Special wheels for connecting to the floor of the hold. Like looking into the ocean at night, in the dark. You cannot see it, but you know it's there. And it's big, bigger than anything. Bigger than all the other things combined. Yes.
No elaboration.
They say there is a point, one that I have not crossed. In the Pale, super deep. If you stray too far, of course, on the U41A, or in Lomonosov's land, where every step you take is one step further from home, no matter the direction. It's a point you cannot come back from. Your mind becomes so radiant with the past, there is a flip. Instead of writing, it erases memory, nearing some kind of indescribable finale. Maybe you've been down the Motorway South? It's a story as lone horsemen tell. Lone horsemen, Harife, not paledrivers. Way beyond the established pale that's lit by radio frequencies, where it goes silent and dark. And the process begins, erasure, kilometer by kilometer, in any direction. The Motorway South is a road you cannot come back from.
In the center of this town, there's a ghostly motorway, she sang.
They say I've been away on a kind of holiday. No one knows what's at the end. I've only glimpsed the beginning. I've only felt it in the distance, when I was a child. A child rowing on the lake. Josiane.
There is nothing more to do now. She's far away. She is receding, in the clutches of some indescribable scattered emotion. The child, descending.
You've fried both your brains enough for today, detective. Let's get some air. This one's far gone.
This screen found, A to Z, contemporaire, is parked in the shadow of the ruins looming overhead. It's seen better days.
This must be the one he told us about, unless he was lying.
The glass on the side windows is tinted and covered with dust. You can barely make out the shape of a seat and 2 steering levers. It feels like you're peeking into someone's home residence. Inside it's private, cozy, warm, dusty too. The door is locked. The handle looks shiny, like it's recently replaced.
Use the pry bar to smash the window. Open it from the inside. This has been hard enough. No need to make it any harder.
This screen found, A to Z, contemporaire. This screen found, A to Z, contemporaire, is parked in the shadow of the ruins looming overhead. It's seen better days. With a firm grip, you raise the pry bar, a glint of light catching on the tip. Call down the hammer of truth and justice. Release your secrets, Lorry cabin. The window shatters and droplets of glass fly everywhere, shattering over the lorry floor and pavement.
Subtle.
The smell of cigarettes and perfume welcomes you. The cabin inside is plastered with old movie posters. Actresses smile from the walls. There's a radio transmitter in the front and a toolbox tucked under the driver's seat. Some tools lie scattered near the pedals. These are movie posters featuring starlets from long-forgotten films from the 20s, the teens, even the 90s of the last century. One of them particularly catches your eye, a centerfold of an ingenue attached right above the back seat. The actress is draped in a sheath dress, one of her shoulders bared. The faded remains of an autograph run across the poster. She's looking past the camera. A feeling of tenderness washes over you. A longing even, perhaps. And gentle tragedy. This is Tip Tijon, a starlet from the dawn of cinematography, less known for her talent than her tragic, untimely death. She wasted away in a drug den called the Door to the River, not far from here, on Boogie Street, a mixture of cocaine and morphine. She was afraid of the world, and the camera, too. The actresses and the rear actor all smile you a warm goodbye. A radio transmitter is attached to the dashboard, and a toolbox sits under the driver's seat. Looks like the frequency dial is absent. It requires a key to work, but the key has been removed, likely by the missing lady driver.
Strange. There are so many radio stations saved here. Must be over 100 at least. For contacting an entire fleet of lorrymen, for example. This is all shortwave, UW and UKV. Looks like we are dealing with an impressive organizational tool. The nerve center of a huge operation. With quite a range, too. Doesn't look like it. It's completely inoperable without a dial key.
The smell of 1,000 cigarettes, some dead actresses, and a rusty old toolbox under the seat. You wedge yourself under the steering wheel to get a better look. Seems like the few tools lying around here, a hammer, a pair of pliers, a rusty wrench, have been casually thrown there by the disorganized driver. But one odd detail does catch your eye. A piece of sandpaper has been glued to the throttle. Sandpaper adds extra grip.
Sandpaper? A novel technique? Yes?
Do the honors, he thinks. Connect it yourself.
Which means that the missing lady driver was present at the lynching. At least we can now ask Titus some concrete questions about it.
The movie stars are still smiling from the walls. The radio transmitter sits on the center console and a faint smell of perfume is in the air. A metallic drawer slides out from the seat. It's empty, except for a folded newspaper. It's an issue of Périphérique from last Wednesday. A piece of paper falls out from its pages. It looks like an article ripped out from a radio enthusiast magazine. Complex mathematical equations explain the basics of something called the Ulan frequency system.
The Ulan frequency system? I've never heard of that before. I know of FM, AM, UKV, but...
The pull-out toolkit slides back into its nest. The rest is as it was. Radio, posters, a trace of motor oil smell under all the cigarettes. He closed the rusty old lorry door.
Great. I think we got everything. A word, detective? Before we return to Joyce? All right, we've finished here. Let's quickly debrief and go over what we found, so we don't do it in front of the company rep. Honestly, I'm quite worried by what we've seen so far. The evidence seems to point to a rather extensive and well-organized operation. I'm especially intrigued by that radio transmitter, particularly the sheer number of stations it can connect. Looks like this alleged drug trade casts a wide net.
This means it's well-funded. Technology like that, a major player must be financing it.
I'm not sure what the Ulan frequencies are all about, but they may hold some significance. Perhaps it's a better way to connect between fleets while avoiding frequency bleed, or maybe it's used to tap into RCM networks. And last but not least, it's Ruby's cabin we found. This is an undeniable connection to the Union. Perhaps you're right. This is one connection I find a little dubious, to be honest. I prefer not to profile people's emotions. Perhaps it's because I'm not very good at it, but still.
Actually, he's not bad at it at all. He just doesn't like flimsy connections, especially of this kind.
One way or another, they seem to be. Logistically, if nothing else. But don't expect to bust this open during our stay here. At best, this is an angle we can use against them. To other ends, as extra ammunition. We should return to the murder case, see what Joyce tells us about the lynching. When we are done for the day, I call my station and suggest our narcotics department look into it. There are more than enough grounds to start an official investigation, sometime later when we are done here. We do not want to get caught in that. The fact that one hasn't started already gives me pause, an investigation I mean. Especially if the Madrid grouping is involved, and I can't imagine they aren't. It's certainly worrisome. All the same, I don't like the idea of internal affairs descending on the matter. That won't help anyone either. Debrief over. After you.
I saw you poking around in Lady Driver's lorry. She in trouble? Still better than me, I guess. Told you there's plenty of others who tell on her. But is she in trouble? It's that bad. Man, what should I do? What should I do to help her? Damn. I always warned her to watch herself. Man. Nothing to do now, I guess. Maybe I should just keep my head down and work on my rhymes while I can. Oh, you know. Tommy Le Homme's gonna be a musician. Sprechgesang, but with beats. I've got a lot of free time on the road to hone my craft.
The correct grammar is Tommy Le Homme.
Tommy Le Homme was taken. My real name's Jerry Lafitte. Tommy's way better.
It's more him.
Yeah, you too. Be safe, detective.
The trash container. The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste. Not much to see here. There's nothing more of interest. You see, a box falls into the container sounds a muffled gong.
Fuck, does Kuno care? Kuno...
The barbell waits patiently on the floor, like a dog for its master. The barbell waits patiently on the floor, like a dog for its master. The barbell waits patiently on the floor, like a dog for its master. The barbell waits patiently on the floor, like a dog for its master. Conjuring up an inhuman amount of strength, you raise the barbell up in the air. Your biceps tremble, but you're a savage. This is a children's game. wave of accomplishment washes over your head as you drop the barbell to the floor. For a moment, it feels like you're strong enough to succeed at anything you ever set your mind to. Hey, but you're still in a ghost house. What if someone heard this? What if they know you're here?
Good technique.
The barbell waits.
Hello again, esteemed...
The scruffy-haired little boy.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? Yes, my eyes on the harbour have sent word to that effect. What have you discovered? It doesn't really matter, and I do apologize for the surveillance. Wild Pines can't afford to be blind at a time like this. In any case, it's a relief to know someone has looked into it. If I may ask, will there be an official investigation? I assume you discovered there is an operation.
She's trying to conceal her excitement, but the slight glimmer in her green eyes tells you otherwise. The lieutenant is about to interject. Cut him off. This decision should be yours.
If there is an investigation, it will be part of an ongoing operation, subject to confidentiality. I'm sure you understand.
Of course, detectives. In any case, you've held up your end of our arrangement. I trust you with the rest. Now it's my turn. I wouldn't normally break protocol like this, but the situation demands it. If you don't solve this murder, I'm afraid we may have a bloodbath on our hands. Yes, I'm afraid this strike may descend into a small-scale civil war, with possible consequences for all of Rivershoal West.
Since you are sharing, ma'am, this is also the RCM's worst-case scenario.
Then we're on the same page, as grim as it may be. I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor as an insurance measure. They called it my security detail. They were dispatched after I relayed the union's initial offer.
Every worker...
A member of the board. I tried to convince my employer it was simply a piece of rhetoric, or a joke. They did not appreciate the humor. Absolutely not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They are meant to intimidate the Union into surrendering.
Who are they, exactly?
Kortenaer, an Oranese military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer to me. To be frank, our relationship is deteriorating. They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and stressor disorder, and no idea how to conduct themselves in an urban civilian environment.
So, what happened?
The story is, one of them, the colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. This allowed some of the more militant Union members to subdue him. He was taken out behind the whirling in rags and lynched last Sunday night. Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbour. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there. The remaining 2 Kortenaer contractors carry out their orders, for now. It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal into the lynching. Once this investigation is concluded, executions will follow.
What is the nature of this so-called investigation?
Whether to execute one, some, or all of the Union militants.
Investigation upon investigation here in Martinez, racing towards some dark deadline.
They won't. My only hope is that yours provides a single concrete suspect before they indiscriminately pick theirs. Simply put, if you don't pin this on someone good and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching. This in turn will force the Union to respond.
They would have to project strength and power.
The Debardeurs have over 2,000 men. It will be 1,000 to 1.
Have you ever seen a hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant? It's not pretty.
The Serai's giant hornet, the world's second largest insect, can kill 40 honeybees a minute, while a group of 30 can decimate an entire hive of 20,000 bees in less than 4 hours.
These men work in tandem using semi- and fully automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons, even yours. Most Union workers don't have guns at all. As I said, a bloodbath.
It appears you found it, yes. And I'm not happy for you.
Many bleak scenarios have already come true, Lieutenant W. Frater Dubois. All we can do is keep the rest from going the same way. One single concrete suspect delivered into civil court, and I may be able to defuse this situation. Not much. Their public resume is relatively good, as far as private military contractors go. I believe they were once called Downwell.
Down a deep, black well.
They boast a long list of clients. Saint-Baptiste, Welchman Lorenz, Eintracht. A warning sign, however. The operations concerned all take place in third or fourth world countries. Guarding facilities, escort missions and such.
Meaning they're used to operating in war zones.
Yes. All the good conflict corridors, Supramundi, Yesut, the Seminese Islands, Countries that don't have a good record reporting atrocious military conduct on their soil. Sadly, no. Before this happened, I had little interest in them. Now that I do, I don't have the resources. If you still have access to the ICP's database, you could run a better background check than I ever could. It may take some time, though.
Do you know a lot about the inner workings of the RCM and the ICP, man?
In my line of work, it pays to do your research. I was prepared to deal with the RCM. I did not think I'd be dealing with a group like Kortenaer. I have, and they will. However, these orders take time to reach what is basically a rogue unit out in the field here. Until they do, it's all on us.
She's being truthful. She is pressing them as hard as she can.
Or he didn't. This is information passed on to me from some teenagers loitering around the canal. I cannot testify by it. The remaining contractors, their tribunal. It's what they believe. That the man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around a bit. This seems to be the accepted story around Martinez.
This does not come as news to us, but still. To your knowledge, where did this assault take place, if you know?
Last Sunday night, at the Whirling in Rags, the hostel by the gates. Supposedly, the colonel was drunk, maybe on narcotics too. Either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. Sometime later, a group of dock workers got their hands on him. That's a good question, officer. I don't have the slightest idea. As I said, it's a rumor. About a rumor. In any case, it's what the colonel's remaining colleagues believe. If you mean did I see him alive, yes. But I did not know him.
You don't know how you know. It's not written on her face, nor in her voice. But she had sympathy for this man.
Liked is a bit strong. He was the most charismatic among them. He handled all the talking. His departure left a major gap in the group's communication skills. Lorry, his service name, a nom de guerre, most likely. He wouldn't divulge his full name. Only one of them did. A bad sign if there ever was one. One is a man, Kortenaer, they call him, a nickname as well. The other a woman, Phyllis de Paul. Kortenaer is the gunner, I believe. De Paul is a radio operator.
What would you say was his eye color, the deceased's?
She closes her eyes, trying to picture the man's face, then shakes her head.
I can't remember.
The lieutenant was testing her, asking a small detail first to see if she knew him better than she let on. She passed.
That's all right, man. Anything else? Nationality? What would you say was his age?
He was 40. Or 50. It's hard to say which. He had a combat injury on his lower jaw. It made it difficult to estimate his age, or gauge his facial expressions.
This matches the dental reconstruction we saw on the body, and Klaasje also mentioned it, I believe. What else? Nationality? Accent?
He was, Occidental, I think. Light brown hair, a mixed accent. Oranese, or Messinian, maybe. His injury gave him an accent all his own. In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it. Through the injury. That's all I know, I guess. I only met him once. They've gone to ground, as it were. I don't recommend seeking them out. For one, they're likely to be armed to the teeth. They don't have the same respect for the Revachol citizens' militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes. Ghetto savages. It will not be a fruitful meeting.
Vigilantes. You're a professional officer of the only legitimate authority in Revachol.
Somehow, I doubt that lecturing them on the legitimate use of force will persuade them to stand down. You're likely to run into them eventually. When that happens, I'll be in a better position to mediate if I don't appear involved.
One is obviously the scab leader at the harbour gates. The one chanting the idiotic slogans. He's barely maintaining his disguise. The other has a vantage point in a building south of the roundabout. They were keeping tabs on you while you were canvassing the lorry drivers.
That may be so. I still hope you heed my advice. There's no need to kick the hornet's nest.
For all your talk of averting this catastrophe, the situation at the gate is a powder keg. Does this not bother you?
Of course it bothers me, Lieutenant. But my hands are tied. How would my employer react if it appeared I were intervening on behalf of the Union?
Your concern may be appearances. Ours is keeping the peace.
That would afford a good vantage point. In any case, it's practically inaccessible.
Where is your radio for contacting them, if I may ask? Do you have an earpiece?
Heavens no. I'm not an undercover agent. There's a short wave at the ship's wheel. I hope I can answer it better. Until the executions start? Truthfully, I don't know. It depends on their progress identifying the members of the lynch mob, and their impatience.
They don't report their progress to you?
Not on this matter. I'm afraid they consider this a personal initiative.
5 days, not more. Maybe sooner.
It's a matter of days, not weeks. I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there is anything else I can help you with, please ask. Of course. Excuse my hesitation before.
For about half a minute, in silence.
It was taken with a Trigat not long ago. This is the man's upper body. There were no more markings on his hands or legs.
Her mouth is relaxed. The accordion lines near her mouth vanish. The pearls of her eyes move slowly on the photo's surface. She has no excess of emotions for this cadaver. Has she seen dead bodies before? It's likely.
Sorry. I was trying to see if I can read the web of interdependencies between these points. The stars. I can't. But that's how you read this story. The points themselves don't have letters, numbers, anything. Their size, location on the body, and distance from each other tells you what they represent. Close. Port cities. This is an Oronese map of the waterways, a sailor's tattoo worn by wayfarers of the Dolorian century. Over 300 years ago, the sailors would mark their bodies to map their travels. The sailor's soul would use it to fly back home if they should die abroad. This is a sort of contraption to be reeled back in by. The silver cord, they would call it.
Where is he now?
I would say he's near the Arcade Islands by now, ready to exit the Insulindian and enter the Pale, if I've read his home address correctly. Quite a few. Vredefort, the Oronese capital, traditionally stands on the right shoulder. He started somewhere near here, I think.
What next?
Then he made his way to the Pretto Grande, through what I think must be the Stutz Canal, an artificial channel through the Occident. From the Pretto, he sailed to the Insulindic Ocean, first the Semines Islands, then this. Revachol. Those are the two constants. Vredefort on the shoulder, and Revachol in the heart. They started the tradition of these maps right after the discovery of Insulinde, at the dawn of the Interinsulary Age.
The old world passing by, and the new world already here.
You said you can't read it.
I can't. This man was no sailor, and these are no ports. I can understand geographic fragments, but not their meaning.
Somewhere in an office lit by a single green desk lamp, Captain Ptolemaeus Price, 58, bored and bespectacled, is writing in a ledger on his desk. Rows and rows of days and weeks, laconic remarks in a single column. Patrol, case, vacation, injured. In Martinez looking into Krenel, He writes in one. Then the man puts down his pen and rubs his temples with both hands. Outside, there is a siren. Distant gunshots on the streets of the Jamrock Quarter.
That makes sense to me. We have no more use for a map of the waterways, just like we don't need sailors the way we used to. This is what the custom would morph into on the Occident. Mercenary tattoos.
For all the boys looking for adventure, a blood spatter on the seas.
His platoon members? The other contractors. Though I do not suggest you go and show them that picture. This man was their friend and comrade.
It could go this or the other way. Maybe if you're tactful, it could be beneficial. Challenge accepted. I say we do it.
Do what you have to do, Detective Dubois. I don't think deciphering that tattoo should come before public security. But if you should wade into the mob to find out, I couldn't stop you.
We will be careful, ma'am.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
Lorry stuck.
Right to work! Right to work! Shame on you!
Hell no. I'm just an honest scab. I won't have talk like that around here. You understand?
It just has to be said. That was not a convincing line.
Fucking loincloth.
Loincloth? Now you see, that's not really what a scab would say, is it? Better not to press the issue further, sire. He seems tense.
Fucking fuck.
I'm going to interpret that as a yes. There's a tribunal, and it won't be long until it's ready.
How about you fuck off now, huh?
Okay, of course.
There could be weapons aiming at us right now. Somewhere above, in the buildings. The other merc. Don't push this, he's thinking. This is not the time. The man's breathing steadies, but his eyes are still narrow. Slowly, he's trying to get his right-to-work dance back on.
Don't think so.
Suddenly, this feels like a really, really bad idea. Wordless, he takes the photo and looks at it. Grey eyes dart back and forth on the glossy surface. His face is unmoving. You see dead flesh in colorful rivers of polychrome, melting skin and hair.
Fucking loincloths. Really did him in. Yeah.
He's clenching his teeth. There is silent pressure behind them.
What it means. I can tell you what this one means. Only one. You want to hear what happened here? Our colonel is deep in the bush here. Deep in the fucking bush. In Benital, 41. Monsoon season. He's on a reconnaissance mission.
Benital is one of the inhabited islands of the Seminese archipelago near the Pale. Covered in jungle, it was anchor point for the Seminese nationalists in the proxy war held on the islanders' territory.
He spent a month behind enemy lines, scouting kept villages. Nothing but fucking bugs and snakes for fun. Men are getting restless. There's talk of switching employers.
With some strange emotion, this is about to get really graphic. Last moment to back off.
Our boy, he's only a captain then, but he knows how these men think. If they don't see action soon. At dawn, he comes upon two kids, breeding in the bushes by the river. Or maybe they weren't breeding. Maybe they were just making eyes at each other. I like to think they were breeding. We shot the boy. He was useless, but the girl, she was nice. A little fat, you know, but not too old. She was quite the entertainment for the week she lasted, expired in the hands of Sarge Mason, the kind of guy who'd make Chief there shit his pants and cry like a bitch. God, Mason couldn't let go. Cut the tits off her cold body and fucking ate them. Said primitive spirits were watching over him now. Drowned in a creek a week later. Spirits my ass.
Something stirs in your stomach. The story must have stirred up some conflicting emotions. The man looks tired for a second. There's a word on the tip of your tongue. Colorless. Odorless. It's...
No. I was in the domain. In Jamrock. Being a bouncer. Fucking mask is getting sweaty. I want to take my mask off.
He's under orders. And orders are orders.
Go ahead.
All right now. Free commerce! Keep the goods flowing!
On the photo in your hands, the dead man's skin is studded with stars. Tens, hundreds of them, littering his dead skin.
Hello, officer. I think I almost have it. A new trap design, that is. I know you're skeptical, but I have a good feeling about this. Hell no. I had no idea. And I'm still cross with him, to be honest. It's not like him. He's got his quirks, but dishonesty, disloyalty are not one of them.
I don't know what got into him, officer. Thank you for letting him off easy. He won't forget it. We'll make sure he won't. Oh, hello, sweetie.
Hey, what's that?
Again? I can't believe...
The Coppernato is back. What do you want? Yeah, by friends, you mean his squad mates from Kortenaer.
Wouldn't want to beat up his grandma.
Titus did his best, but his men are a bit unsettled.
This is what happens if you take the law into your own hands. Other people start doing it too.
Let them come. The Hardie boys are right fucking here.
You heard the man. Right here. We're armed. We got the whole district behind us. And Glenn. Glenn is fucking crazy.
Yeah. A well-oiled murder machine.
The mood is on the rise. They're feeling confident, ready to punch out the whole Merc platoon.
Big fucking surprise. They hire psycho scum, arm them to the teeth, and let them loose in the city. What do you think is gonna happen? So are the local gangs, the fucking Barmy army, and the Madre scum. You've been out there. Seen any around?
Yeah. Where are they now, huh? Sent back to Madre in an airtight cargo crate.
These people are trained military professionals, special forces, as you said. They're not a gang or Barmy army.
No, they're not. They're uncoordinated and drunk. Don't forget, we're listening in on their communications. Their shit is way apart. We got weapons of our own. We got Ister 50s, Zeelagers. Glenn's got a knock cannon at home. I guess we're gonna see, aren't we?
That was an unsure phrasing.
Yeah, like you've been up against ceramic armor. You haven't even seen the whole suit, right? I've seen the whole fucking thing, and it didn't make him immortal. The fuck is that supposed to mean?
We're not bees. We're men. We're socialists.
Easy, He's trying to phase you. What are you trying to do? Scare my men? What do you mean, okay? Goddamn right we do. We done it before. Ain't that right, fellas?
Fuck yeah, we have. Battle-hardened urban soldiers, man. We got the guns and the reserves.
Yeah, we got reserves. We can call in reinforcements.
This guy will be the first one to bail.
Like hell you have. There is no local drug trade. This place is as clean as a rifle. Go back to Jamrock and ask the local junkies how clean your streets are in Precinct 41 kilos.
We'll do that. In the meantime, did you know that there's an abandoned lorry at the intersection that was used to move raw ingredients for drugs from Terminal B to Jamrock? We know Ruby was the driver. We know that's your affiliation with her. Detective, you want to deliver the coup de grâce? Thank you. You're right, Titus. There is no local drug trade because it's all controlled by you. You're the drug trade.
That's a mighty interesting theory. I guess that's what you would need to do, theoretically. A big, strong, state-run monopoly would outcompete the runts on the street.
Yeah, man. Theoretically, that's what you would do. To get rid of the gangs, the dealers, even some of the junkies.
You would need good, trustworthy people to take their place, of course. Hardy men to run such a monopoly. For the good of the community, of course.
Yes, but that just sends everyone else to Jamrock, doesn't it?
We haven't done anything, but theoretically, it has to be someone's problem, so it might as well be yours. I don't know. I guess theoretical things don't make me emotional. Now, I was sorta gonna get my brewski on. You sure do love long walks through Dairy Town, don't you? Well, I'm thirsty now. Thirsty for beer. Got any less theoretical questions, Cobb?
He doesn't let it show, but must be a little impressed. You've put a lot of things together, fast. He's practically saying yes. A yes to everything you said.
Yeah? What? The what now? I have no idea. Boys?
She said she's building a pale emitter.
What?
We were talking about radio equipment. She said she's doing Ulan frequencies and a pale something. I don't know more.
This guy barely understands what he's talking about.
There you have it. Pale something.
It feels like you'll get to know soon enough.
Anything else you want, Cobb?
Two neon-lit shapes, a man and a woman. The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight.
To the workshop behind the wall. This must be the bar door we saw. We could return and open it from the inside.
I was just thinking, what a nice day for questions pertaining to a murder investigation. Oh.
Did you take the documents?
No, of course not. As I said, it would have been too risky for me to use those documents anyway. My employer gave them to me. In truth, I should have destroyed them.
She doesn't seem to be lying. She's genuinely spooked by their disappearance.
They couldn't know where I put it. I'm absolutely sure I was not followed. And I've told no one but you. You mentioned seawater? I was worried I'd been too careless with the latch. The documents were probably just washed away.
The words, washed away, sound distant and strange suddenly. Somewhere far away, a dog barks.
Yeah? Oh. Do you think Ruby could have gotten in that way? To the roof? She could have come up through there.
It's possible.
She keeps looking at the door with a worried expression. The wind ruffles her hair.
Huh. This isn't good. Okay. I'm glad someone's had fun.
She's lost in thought. Eyes narrowed. Forehead furrowed.
All right. Lies.
Yes, we demand she be punished for deceiving us. We demand her anxiety. We demand her fear. She nods, then nervously pulls on her cigarette.
Okay.
She slowly lights another. You clearly see footprints in the downy carpet of dust.
Jackpot.
This is the inside of the barred door you've seen before.
Unless we've veered off into a folded M dimension, I'm expecting to step out on the roof. We could ask Klaasje about this route. See how she reacts?
Folded M dimension. A reference to the popular science fiction series, In System. Look who's in a good mood suddenly, and reads science fiction. Yes, it is quite likely that we will re-emerge on the M plane. Brace for psychokinetic impact. Or the roof.
I was just thinking, what a night.
Yes, miss. I hope you don't mind. All right.
Coolly, gracefully, she pours herself more.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
She's lost in thought.
All right.
Two neon-lit shapes, a man and...
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I help you with? What more do you want to know about that poor girl? Not that I know of, though she was into nice music. She once showed me a few mixtape milieu she'd made. Although I guess she was pretty handy with the mechanical and technical stuff. Even fixed the heater in the shack. You should be thankful for that. Yes, let's see if there's other questions.
Hello. Isn't this a fine morning? How to climb that ladder, you see? I do know that Lomantangs used sticks to climb battlements. There's even a special technique for that. No, I'm just speculating theoretically here. Of course, there's also the method ancient Ilmarans used to get into the huts of their enemies. If I'm not mistaken, then it involved months of following a very rigid exercise regimen. No, years. In this case, I suggest looking into the Zeolite Invisibles class. The word refers to their remarkable ability to traverse any environment in the most efficient way possible. There's this excellent investigative piece of journalism by... Yes, I have. There was this one time where I...
Oh no, you've made El Bigo Mistako. He's going to go on forever. Mark my words. All of this somehow ties into the history of Occidental financial markets.
Alternative? I don't even have a mainstream way in, I'm afraid, although... There's a sewage pipe there. Maybe that does something? Sorry, I can't help more.
Pipes can be broken with force. The rusty ladder leads to the rooftop. The rusty ladder leads to the rooftop. All you need to do is close your eyes and concentrate. Darkness enfolds you. You can feel the distance between the bench and the first rung of the ladder. All you need to is... Zoot, zap, pow, crinkle! It's like magic. You feel yourself disappear, your atoms fading out of existence.
Oh my god, I can't believe it.
Bam! You find yourself on the roof, having mastered the art of physical displacement.
I just saw you climb the ladder. You just climbed it like a regular person. Never mind. Find a way to let me in when you get inside. Don't go adventuring without backup, especially if we think the suspect may be hiding here.
A mustachioed and mutton-chopped man, amateurishly depicted, gazes at you with sad eyes. The plaque reads, K. Mazov. There is a spiderweb in the lower left corner of the portrait. Years' worth of dust is shaken off. The full head of hair, matched by an ample moustache and sideburns, look a bit silly. Could this have been the killer's hideout? And this narrow window, the point of origin of the shot that killed the mercenary? Outside the window, desolation. Snow falls softly onto the coastal sand, where it melts almost instantly. On rooftops, it lingers. It's definitely a good place to hide. Mazovians know how to lay low. No, it's not. No matter how you crane your neck, you can't see the whole of the whirling in rags, and certainly not the relevant segment of the top floor. Suddenly, your entire body is paralyzed. Aggressive white noise fills your skull. A strange pain like you've never felt before. The static overcomes you. The darkness takes over as you feel yourself slipping into an unknown mute state. Oh, it's death. This is the end. Cop dies under the boardwalk. An officer of the RCM, hot on the track of a suspect, died yesterday, of causes yet to be determined. I told him not to go after the suspect without me, said Lieutenant Kim Kitsuragi, the deceased partner on the case. But it seems that he wanted to play the hero. It's just like him to run straight into the lion's den, fly unzipped and arms flailing, said Satellite Officer Jean Vicmer, friend and colleague of the officer. If ever I saw a man with a death wish. The rusty ladder leads. The rusty ladder leads to the rooftop. All you need to do is close your eyes and concentrate. Zoot!
Oh my god,
Bam! You find yourself on the roof.
Never mind.
2 rusty metal plates that slide apart form a crude door. It's been here under the boardwalk for a while.
What do you mean, who's there? It's me, Kim. Stop playing around and help me get the door open.
It's much easier from this side. The panels on the rails slide once you dust the sand off. With the help of your partner, from the other side, the doors open with a creak.
Huh. I hope no one dangerous heard that. Yes. Time to investigate these passages. Let's move quietly and not make more sound.
Not running is a great way to do that. A mustachioed and mutton years worth of dust is shaken off. The full
Yes, I can see that. Looks like some communists were hiding out here. They left a long time ago.
The lieutenant does not seem to share your enthusiasm.
I won't stand in your way, but only after we're through with this case. We have found a lot of those lately. I guess what most people think of as history tends to linger in rundown neighborhoods. Martinez being what it is, no one has gone through the trouble of cleaning out the old bunkers.
Good hiding place for someone who's up to no good.
Half a century? This was probably part of the network of defense posts the communards built against the amphibious landing. I think the purpose of this bunker was to produce propaganda. It would have had radio equipment back then, but that's all been looted. You mean like Ruby? No, I think we've stumbled on a piece of history.
Could this have been the killer's outside the window?
It is a great place to hide, and Masovenism and killing are certainly not mutually exclusive. But there hasn't been anyone here in ages. Indeed, no one could get a clear view. Well, at least we've been thorough. I like thorough.
The lieutenant's voice betrays a slight disappointment, which he glosses over by reasserting control.
In fact, I think we're done with this bunker. After you, officer.
You feel something, like a swarm of hornets buzzing under your scalp. A strange tingling you can almost smell.
No, what do you mean? I don't feel it, but we should still be careful. There were footprints back there, and I'm pretty sure they were fresh. No, but you are the sensitive one.
It's not a quib. The situation is dangerous.